Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, this is part 2 of the video I posted last night of derusting an original Marx crossover. Now, if you look at the original video, this crossover was just absolutely eaten alive, covered in rust. It's been soaking 21 hours in 4% white vinegar. Now, all the black stuff you see in here is the paint that came off of the crossover itself. So I'm going to pull this out of here, and I've got a old toothbrush. Get all this loose paint off of this. And let me get this brushed off a bit. I'll move it over here to a towel. We can have a look at it. I think you'll be impressed with the results. So let's move the camera. And here is the result. So as you see, this has been completely derusted. And it removed the paint as predicted. And that's one thing about the acid in vinegar, is that it will attack virtually everything. But as you can see, the rust is completely gone. Now, it won't make the steel silver again, but it cleans all the rust. There is not a speck of rust left on these rails. This is smooth as glass. A couple of little light pits in it. And as you can see, it is 100% better than it was when I put it into soak. All the rust is gone. And the nice thing about this is you don't have to mechanically remove the rust. You don't have to scrub it and scrape it and use a wire brush or anything. I've done nothing to it except let it soak. As you can see, it has removed the paint front and back. And this paint literally just wipes right off of this. So the important part, of course, is the rust is gone. So this is going to work actually exactly as it did when it was new. And you don't have to scrape anything. And not only is it derusted on the outside, it's also derusted on the inside. So it should conduct electricity absolutely perfectly. So what you have to do now is dunk this down into some water with a bit of baking soda in it. The baking soda will neutralize the acid to prevent it from rusting. And this is going to work as good as new. As you can see, let's get a good close-up here of the track itself. As you can see, the rust is completely gone. You can just wipe this stuff off. Notice the pins are really loose. This is an old original crossover. And like I said, I'll just plunk this down into some water with a bit of baking soda, and this is going to work just like new. It's been completely derusted inside and out. Like I said, it won't make the metal silver again, but it will remove the rust. So now all I have to do is clean these pins off and tighten them up. I'll just go over this with a pair of track pliers, as well as the holes themselves. And there's just a little bit of traces of oxide left on here. But as you see, nothing's coming off. And this is smooth as glass. All the rust is gone. Of course, so is all the paint, as you see. Now, I'll scrub this with some hot soapy water, a little bit of baking soda. That'll deactivate the acid in the vinegar. And this will be virtually ready to use. No problems, no muss, no fuss, no scrubbing, no scraping, no wire brush, no nothing. I've done nothing to this since I dropped it into the vinegar last night. And as I said, it's removed all of the rust. It's also removed all of the paint. But you have to sacrifice something unless you want to really start scraping this thing, scrubbing it with a bronze brush or a steel brush and cleanser. It would take a lot of work to get all that rust off of there. In this case, you don't have to do anything at all. Nothing. It's just soaked for 21 hours in 4% white vinegar, and all of the rust is gone. So like I said, I'll put this in some hot water with a bit of baking soda. That will neutralize the acid. Go over this with some track pliers, get it cleaned up, dried off, a bit of lubrication on the steel plate itself to keep it from rusting. And I have an original crossover that should work absolutely perfectly. No muss, no fuss, no rust. That's the best thing about this. Now, as far as the vinegar goes, you can still use this. And what I'll do is just pour this through a strainer with a paper towel in it. And that'll take out 99% of this paint. And you can recover all of the vinegar and use it again. So I just want to do a quick video on derusting steel with vinegar. It works. It works absolutely perfectly. Get this cleaned up and it's going to work as good as new. Remember, it's not only been derusted on the outside, it's also been derusted on the inside. So there's no more rust on the inside of the track. So it should conduct electricity perfectly. It should work just as good as it did when it was new. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up. Derusting steel with vinegar. It works. Acetic acid just absolutely dissolves iron oxide and just strips the rust off of here without damaging the metal. The paint is gone, of course, but I'll just scrub this, get it cleaned up. Like I said, add a bit of baking soda to the water. That'll neutralize the acid, and let it dry, and this will be ready to use. And this was in really terrible condition. It was just absolutely covered in rust. And as you can see, the rust is gone. So I just want to do a quick follow-up video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.